Hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a thumbs up, thank you. The Young and the Restless Day Ahead recap for Monday, 4/30 shows what happens tomorrow on The Young and the Restless. There's lots of action in Genoa City coming April 30 as we head into the hard-hitting action of May sweeps. Nick is obsessed with JT, Victor's working hard on his recovery efforts, and Sharon continues to struggle under the weight of her guilt of what they did. Victoria's also cracking, but Phyllis is vigilant. See what happens next. News updates on The Young and the Restless every day. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is working from home when Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, approaches him about Sharon McAvoy's Sharon case on edge behavior. He suggests that maybe learning what J.T. Hellstrom, Thad Luckenbill, did to Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, brought up feelings of when she was abused when they were teens. Nick feels they need to get Sharon talking to them. Neil Winters, Christoph Street John, comes to see Victor Newman, Eric Braden, at the ranch, and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, shares that Victor is frustrated. He doesn't like to be in another less than top shape. Neil takes it as a sign that he must be on the mend. Nikki calls out for Victor, but discovers that Victor is gone. Phyllis Summers, Jenna Tognani, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, meet for breakfast at the GCAC. Billy gives her a kiss and thanks her for being incredibly understanding as Victoria detoxes from the JT problem while they take care of the kids. Billy says Phyllis needs a break, and he plans to drop the kids off at Victoria's later, but Phyllis insists they need to keep them longer, and Billy demands to know why. Victor exerts himself. Sharon finds Nick and Mariah and wants to know what is up with them. They pretend they are planning a surprise for her birthday, which is months away. Mariah quickly leaves, and Nick takes a call from Faith's school about an incident. Nick says they won't go into detail, and they both leave for the school. The Young and the Restless Central spoilers promise things get tense this week at the home Nick and Sharon share. Neil and Nikki find Victor in the barn, where he's doing his physical therapy among the horses and dictating notes at the same time. Nikki shakes her head to Neil. Nikki tells them to take a break and suggests they tell the cook what they would like for lunch. Nikki reminds Victor to not take these risks as he is surpassing everything the doctor expected. He says people like JT prey on the weak. Sharon and Nick want to know what happened from Faith after she got suspended for half a day. She says Thomas deserved it, as he loves to pick on girls in class by text and posting about them. It is not specifically about her, but about her friends. The friends decided to confront the kid in homeroom. Faith said she wasn't going to stoop to his level, but her friend changed her mind because she said if she stayed silent, then it was basically being okay with everything Thomas was doing. Vicky is shielded by Phyllis. Phyllis asks Billy to consider everything Victoria is going through right now. JT, the abusive ex, Reed jetting off to boarding school. Phyllis feels a few more bubble baths, and just relaxing and reading would help carry her through a few more days, and she enjoys having the kids stay with them. Billy appreciates that, but knows she is lying her ass off. He knows it's going to take more than one girl's night out for them to be best pals, and that is why he appreciates it even more that she is putting their differences aside to support Victoria, a woman she doesn't really like. Phyllis admits she didn't want to go, feeling the party was going to end a specific way and ended totally different. Phyllis says when she sees a woman up close, dealing with what she is dealing with, it shifts their perception of them, and you can't really make fun of them anymore. Billy talks to Phyllis about Victoria and JT, questioning if Victoria had any clue about what was going on with JT. Billy wants to text Victoria to see if she would discuss that with him. Phyllis thinks that is not a conversation she would want to have with him. When Phyllis says Victoria needs time to grieve, Billy says he is on the run, not dead. Phyllis says for women when a relationship ends, It is more like the process of a death, and they grieve and then move on. Neil gives Victor advice. Young and the Restless spoilers for tomorrow say that Neil talks to Victor, who says whatever G did to him, he is going to work out harder and stronger. Victor is determined to be back in a week. Nikki is shocked, while Neil says he is just showing off. Nikki says she will also do a bit of showing off. As acting CEO, she has everything under control, including having Victoria and Ashley getting along and reporting to her. Victor says he has nothing to prove except to teach a lesson to JT Hellstrom. Victor says he will teach him that he failed. Nick tells Faith that standing up to a bully takes way more courage than trashing people online. Her heart was in the right place. Sharon agrees that she had to stop him. Faith says they went to the soccer field after homeroom, because Thomas' class after homeroom is gym. Faith told him he only picks on girls because he thinks they won't fight back, but one day one will. She called him a weak, pathetic loser with no friends and always will be. Everyone laughed at him. He cried and the gym teacher showed up. Faith explained to the teacher what happened, and they were sent to the principal's office. But now her 3 friends won't talk to her. The Young and the Restless spoilers for 4/30ths promise that Nikki understands what Victor went through when he was young. It's one of the reasons she loves him. She understands why he is so driven. Victor says then she should understand why he has to do this. But Nikki says he is testing the limits of his body and his life, only for JT to know that he didn't win. She promises him that wherever JT is, he already knows this. She leaves upset and asks Neil to talk some sense into him. Neil asks if he has found any information on JT. The mustache admits him nor the police have found anything but informs Neil about the hidden camera and the footage of JT assaulting Victoria. Neil is in utter shock, and Victor says Neil would do the exact same thing Victor is doing if it were Laylee Ashby, Crystal Khalil, who were assault. Neil promises as the head of PR for Newman Enterprises he will do anything to help Victor. Victor asks him for a double shot of tequila. Neil takes it out and dumps it out on the floor as Victor protests. Nick gives Faith comfort. Faith sits on Nick's lap as he tells her she can talk to them about anything. Nick says she should have got an adult to talk to Thomas, but he is very proud of her for telling the truth. He makes her promise that if she sees someone getting bullied to grab an adult and no more vigilant justice. Nick and Sharon talk about it. Nick is proud of her, but Sharon asks if he should get to the New Hope meeting. He reminds her that if she needs to talk about something, she can turn to him for anything. Nick walks away, but Maria walks in and catches Sharon crying. Neil tells Victor he's being his friend after having very serious surgery. He says if Victor dies from complications from surgery because he decided to drink, then Nikki is right, JT wins. Neil gives him a bottle of water in his towel. Victor thanks him and says one good thing happened. Nick came by. Neil says it doesn't surprise him because Nick loves him and is trying to survive in a life dominated by Victor's very imposing shadow. Nick meets with Nikki at Crimson Lights, where Nikki reveals that Victor knows about Nikki and Arturo, Jason Canela, relationship, and now wants him off the project, citing Arturo is overcharging the project. Nick is furious, saying this is all about Victor's ego. Phyllis stops by their table and both Nikki and Phyllis learn about the emergency meeting they had at Faith's school earlier. Phyllis and Nick agree with Faith, but Nikki doesn't think so. Nick voices his concerns about Sharon with her nightmares, stressed out and insomnia. Sharon is starting to cry. Both Nikki and Phyllis tell him not to read too much into it, but he says Sharon hasn't been like this in a long time. Both feel she is cracking and worry they are all going to end up in prison. Neil shares that Divin Hamilton, Brayton James, is a genius when it comes to the music industry, but he made some unfortunate decisions in both his professional and personal life. Victor says that at least Victoria got a lot closer to Nikki through this thing with JT. Neil asks if he cares to share his recipe for a long and happy marriage. Victor says they expanded their boundaries to include another partner. Nikki says they need to monitor Sharon, be supportive, and remind her of what JT did, and what they all stand to lose if anyone should find out, but no browbeating. Hillary Curtis, Michelle Morgan, comes in and asks them what the big secret is. She questions them about JT's mysterious disappearance, and Nikki warns her not to use her little show to bank on Victoria's pain. Hillary sits with Phyllis, saying she has nothing but compassion for Victoria, but she heard about their girls' night from Mariah. Phyllis perks up and asks what she said. Maria says she got really drunk, passed out, and remembers very little. Hillary says she was the originator of the GC's girls' night and asks why she wasn't invited. She gets visibly upset and shares that she isn't pregnant, and the home pregnancy test gave her a false positive. Now she doesn't know what she is going to do after she announced she was having Devin's baby live on her show. Sharon tells Mariah she was upset after what happened at Faith's school, but Maria doesn't buy it. She demands to know the truth, as she has been like this for days. Maria begs her to tell her, as she can take the secret to the grave if she wants her to. Phyllis says they should take this as a sign, as it wasn't meant to be. Hillary reveals she hasn't told Devin yet because of Simone. Phyllis is surprised that Simone has moved up to girlfriend status. Phyllis says it is too bad she can't use the sample Devin gave her and go through the IUI way anyway. Hillary hugs her and says she is a genius. Maria yanks her mother. Maria tells Sharon she can trust her, and Sharon says, in a way she can't trust anyone else, but it is so hard in where to start, and she isn't sure what Maria will think of her once she hears it. Sharon begins to talk about Nick and Christian, saying she is sending him mixed signals when he is in such a vulnerable place right now. Sharon says no more, and it means a lot that she and Mariah can talk about this anytime. Maria watches Sharon walk away, but is confused. Neil gives Victor the heavier weights, tells him to use the lighter weights, and he drops them. Victor says he is so sick of sitting in this damned thing and puts his feet on the ground. Neil says he is going to get him help, and Victor says no. He stands up, takes a step, and falls as Neil rushes to his side. Please follow Y&R Express and like us for the latest info on your daily updates. Watch the weekdays news for new The Young and the Restless episodes, and come back to The Young and the Restless often for all the latest for The Young and the Restless spoilers and news. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our Young and Restless Express channel and stay with us.